This podcast contains descriptions of extreme violence, body horror, and adult language. Please check the description for details. Viewer discretion is advised. Last we left off, you had just escaped a rather nasty fate at the top floor of the Grow Tower. You have the remaining They of Clay in tow, although Godman, while still alive, has seemingly made his escape. You are all on one of the lower floors, directly out of the line of fire. And if I'm not mistaken, Hyde, you have Nisa on your back, having gotten them to trust you for this joint cause of not dying. And you guys are pretty much there is still, that moment of like low-lying adrenaline that takes a second to subside for a moment before it is replaced with cortisol as stress takes its place. Now that you are in a less immediate situation of danger, you do not hear any explosions continuing upstairs, but for good measure, you make sure that there is more than one floor of space between where you were and where you are. And panting and tired and sweating and covered in blood and muck and slop.
And muck and slop.
And muck and slop and muck. You eventually find your way to one of the hydroponics levels with all of the various Azure butterflies flying around, although notably fewer, considering that it seems like Azul made a concerted effort to redirect a number of them to the top floor for the sake of the combat, as well as that final effort to obscure their line of fire. You breathe, and you all look to each other. And you acknowledge that finally you have some room to discuss what the fuck to do next.
Well, I don't know about you. Well, I was gonna say 2, but it's more like 4. But personally, I have a good assumption on who did that. And I'm not looking to get blasted to hell when we get to the bottom floor.
Azul pipes up at this point and goes, "We were naive. Or perhaps we simply did not expect exactly the lengths they would go to make a point. There is no others it could have been other than some extremely skilled dwellers who are somehow this deep into collector territory, or the much simpler option. It was the collectors themselves."
Everyone going for fucking power plays these days, huh?
We are aware that this city lives and breathes by power. We simply regret that we have not been afforded trust outside of that. Regardless, we are in a situation that merits discussion.
Asura.
I think at this...
Oh, yeah?
I was just going to say, I think at this point, Hyde, you have kind of slung Nisa to the ground, facing the rest of you to participate.
Yeah.
And Asura, go ahead.
Yeah. Asura, who, at this point, still kind of missing her legs. But despite that, still able to maneuver, like, strangely well, considering... Well, I say strangely well. Not that surprising, considering the amount of arms she has. But regardless, sort of taking deep, heaving breaths, eventually, much like Velx is being placed down to face everyone... Eventually, she turns...
Nisa. It's Nisa.
Nisa. Yeah, I've been saying Velx. Velx is the other one. She eventually turns to, join the general circle. Going on about not having that sort of trust yet, huh? Well, if nothing else... She motions to Nisa. There you go.
We will not take this action lightly. We put our trust in you in a situation where things were... dire. And you did not betray that trust. At least not for now. We thank you. And we appreciate further what the Dredge truly are. Regardless of what outcome we may find ourselves to have. Know that we will not find ourselves as wary of you next time we meet, should we be fortunate enough to have that occur. Now, we are under the impression that we must tread carefully, and we are aware of at least one other way to exit this building. 2, if you want to make some kind of attempt to breach the gap between the grow tower and the balconies outside. We suspect that Godman has already made their way to some of the many outlets and drainage points that this grow tower utilizes in order to feed such a significant portion of this city. The water intake and outflow must be wide enough for at least 1 or 2 people to make their way through. They may not be comfortable, and they may not be, always breathable. But even if we are underwater, that is an option. I will not pretend it is not a risky option, however. It will be significantly more pleasant than the sewers. Clean water, even if it is not potable, will not provide as much of a pungent experience.
You said there were 2 options, huh?
Yes. The other would be out through the front door. You have that privilege. We do not. We are under the understanding that you were hired in some regard to, what? Make this grow tower once again theirs. Is that correct?
More like clear all the gunk out of it.
We're not cleaners. They just wanted the ability to walk in here again. They can take the decor off.
Well, we can promise you that we have no intention of making that difficult for them anymore. They have shown their force, and we have no desire to put ourselves in direct fire of it again. There may be 1 or 2 remaining constructs. Nisa turns to Nisa, and she, barely having much left of her, but just enough that she can kind of writhe and look to you. She kind of inhales a ragged breath and goes, "There's probably some more hidden on various floors, but enough collectors could kill them without too much trouble if they need to. We can only imagine you cleared out a good portion of them, and I can at least tone down their aggression. Though though I have limited ability to connect right now. You see her kind of wave one of her, like, bloodied stumps at this point, seemingly to imply that she would require some kind of physical ability to commune with these constructs of hers. Either way, there won't be any more being produced now that my reservoirs upstairs are most likely bombed into dust. You see her almost tear up at that.
And how about this, huh? First off, she takes a hand and, as if mimicking the stomping of a foot to sort of assert authority, just slams it against the ground. You're gonna do that as much as you can. Lower the aggression, whatever it is. And second, she turns now to look more so towards Azul. You said before, you and this whole little sect of yours right here, a lot more agreeable than the rest of your group, huh?
That is correct.
Then we're gonna test that, huh? Let's keep to that. Take those words. Like you said, if we're ever fortunate enough to see each other again, let's stay amicable then, huh? And if something else like this goes out, and you go against that, and prove yourself wrong, that's when the real hell's gonna start. We need to get out. You have your escape route, we have ours. Capiche?
We understand, so long as the rest of your cohort is in agreement.
Vex's form is, in a word, ragged. She is standing on one leg, has only one arm that she has her scythe extended from up against the wall to just support herself. And between those, only vague connective tissue that has, thanks to her regeneration, been slowly managing to stitch itself back together enough to just hold her overall structure a piece. Her eyes are quite literally just fuming red. She is panting and seems to have been spending most of her effort during this conversation to just stay conscious. She is glaring towards Nisa and Azul, and frankly, even in this ragged state, looks like she's ready to just resume where they left off. I won't lie. Letting the two of you go, just the fucking idea of it, after what you pulled, it's making my blood boil enough that it's probably the only reason I'm still standing right now. You guys talk about fucking trust, peace, naivete, wanting to make a statement, when you're exactly the fucking same as the assholes who ambushed us. In order to make a point, you turned people into art projects. Twisted fucking freaks. You can do whatever the fuck you want to your own bodies. I don't give a shit. But the people in this tower are just trying to live their lives same as you. So I don't want to hear shit about you being better than anyone else. She just hesitates, just seeming to struggle internally for a moment. Under these circumstances, I have to admit, I doubt that we could stop you from leaving even if we wanted to. But if you two are fine with it, she nods towards Hyde and Asura, and you really think it's the best idea, I'd better never see the two of you pulling any shit like this again. Or making any kind of fucking problem for us again. Because otherwise, she glares directly at Azul. I'll have to figure out a way to make butterflies scream.
We believe that we understand your position. Very well. We have no intention of aggravating this further, so we will hold our tongue. Come, Nisa. They gently go over to Nisa and hoist them onto their now largely diminished cloak of butterflies that surrounds their shoulders, and seemingly moves towards going downstairs, and goes, "We will leave through the ducts. That is still along the bottom floor. So let us continue, why don't we?" And kind of gestures for everybody to start moving.
Hyde, mostly letting the other two think it through, considering Hyde's stance was, or their stance was more, obvious. They effectively, start walking. They look to Vex, however, and they say, "I know I said we're not cleaners, but if you need to take some of what remains off the walls, that's what I'm planning on doing."
Yeah, with, on that note, so you are only going to have limited healing because, now normally in this situation, you might have actually had access to somebody who constitutes as a doctor / surgeon healer in the form of Nisa. Unfortunately, Nisa's parts that facilitate that have been destroyed. So, as such, this you do have the ability to heal. It is just going to be severely limited. Vex, because of your special funky regeneration, could you heal? Let's go. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 basic parts damaged. Go ahead and repair 5 of those, not because you're incapable of regenerating the other ones, but because it is taking time. And it's taking time. You are taking pieces off the wall to help facilitate the healing process, because you do have those nifty macerators built into your thigh bones that you can feed stuff into. And that is primarily what allows you to heal your legs. And because normally that is a natural thing, but they are broken right now. Never mind. You reach the bottom of the last set of stairs. You realize you are now heading in separate directions. You will be going to the front doors, and they to wherever these ducts are for the water supply. And Azul turns and looks to you, as there is this small distance between the two groups now, and goes, "We have heard what you said today. We understand that we came to an impasse earlier. We believed we had the might of the collectors on our side, and we now understand that we were being used in a greater way than we initially understood. We will not forget this. We will honor this promise."
You better not fucking regret it. You two are on thin fucking ice, you got that?
Nisa kind of weakly nods their remaining eye, looking over to you. And Azul goes, "We understand. Until we see each other once more."
Oh, as they're leaving, Hyde, reconstituted arms back in their pockets, cocks their head over, and goes, "It was expected to hear that you'd be honoring it. Though, do note, one day, one time in the future, I'm going to make sure we get in contact again, just to make sure we're on the right path. I don't know how, but..." He narrows one of his eyes, not necessarily threateningly, but just more in that he is certain of this. I don't want to see something that could be good go to waste. And if I can direct that myself, all the better.
Stopped from walking and listening without turning, Azul looks over their shoulder and goes, "We were hoping you felt that way. Until then, Hyde."
Azul, Nisa. He takes a hand out of his pocket and waves, as he then takes out his mirror. Either of you want to look?
I don't need a fucking look to know what's going on. She, just goes and, inches away from just grabbing the mirror and tossing it, but she literally reaches the arm out to do that, but then another arm, as if she's not controlling it, instinctively just grabs it and slams it down.
Yeah, and unless there's anything else, you part ways, and you make your way to the foyer, at least close enough to it without being seen by the outside. You sense if there was something more going on, if there was something really sinister happening, you would have your fight or flight right now. You would have seen people pitched around this place, or, ready, or you would. There's a certain air that happens when some kind of ambush is about to go down, and a lot of the time it is just when things are a little too quiet, but it is rowdy outside, and you can hear that. There is a lot of discussion, a lot of yelling, the sound that you would expect with a fireworks show like what just happened not too long ago going down. You suspect that there is nothing of the nature of foul play here, but nonetheless you kind of feel that maybe prepare yourselves of what you're about to walk out into.
Jobs never end dull.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
You can interpret it how you want. Just so that we can get it out here, and we don't have to compete with the flurry of conversation. Good work.
Vex does not look like she has calmed down, and she has been pretty much constantly flicking her scythe blades in and out of her arms as they've been walking. I don't need praise, especially not for a shit show like this.
Admirable.
Could I request from everybody, let's make it 2 conversation checks. One for the floor earlier with Azul, and one for right now between all of you, to see if you manage to dismiss any more of your bloodthirst. Let's see, yeah, Iris, that is going to be 1 cleared for you. That is 1 for Rosche as well.
Real quick, is there a special thing for clearing bloodthirst with your treasure, or...
Yes, you all get to... Thank you very much for bringing that up. You all get to clear a bloodthirst for free, just because you have a treasure. So feel free to clear another. How we looking, gang, on bloodthirst? I believe, Iris, you're still pretty fucked up in that regard, but...
I'm still at 15 out of 26, yeah.
God damn, man.
Hyde is fresh as a spring daisy, dude.
I'm still pretty fucked.
So, that's so great for him.
Oh dear, fantastic. Right, so with that, you kind of resolve to go out the front door, considering that you would have been in a lot deeper shit if they wanted you to be right now. So you reckon that you can probably go outside and just talk to Gareth Carnot, who, once again seems to be the guy kind of heading, quote-unquote, heading the charge here. Go ahead and do so if you please.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the plan.
As they walk out, I imagine, Hyde, or as they're walking towards the door, Hyde's eyes subtly shift over to Asura and go back during that conversation, too, with the 2 of them. I was surprised when you made a good point, so much so that I didn't feel the need to speak.
She like literally like expels a little bit of steam out of her nose as she goes for, you know, as a big exhale. You think I liked having to make peace with those assholes?
I think, and I think you exit out into the comparative daylight, with having that little like spat.
Though hopefully not having shouted that to the assembled crowd.
Yeah, no, definitely not audible to people, that's for sure. I think it's like, you say that and then exit, basically. Hey gang, welcome to the break for episode 20. Big number, huh? Nice one to round off the arc with as well. If we treat the tower as a little arc in and of itself. I hope you've been enjoying, and as per the usual, if you are watching this, I'll direct your attention to the screen for the fan art. But why don't we just get into our normal shilling? Why not? So if you have been enjoying Heart of Hope, and you want to get more Heart of Hope, then you can get an episode ahead of time by supporting me on my Patreon. That is patreon.com/eternal_savvy. Again, that is eternal_savvy. For as little as $1 a month, you can support me and get hold of that episode ahead of time. And if you want to send me some extra money just to help me out, then that is super appreciated. But even the smallest amount of $1 is still going to get you access to that episode. But if you want to know about a direct thing that your money will be helping, aside from just nebulously supporting me, I have been putting the money that I've been getting in from Patreon directly towards music for this game. So every time that month comes in, I have got a short list of human composers who I commission for a new piece of music to be using in this game, specifically for it. So if you are the kind of person who likes to know where your money is going, then that is where it's going. Also, if you want to, see when these are coming out, not have to be like, the bell on YouTube or whatever, then you can follow me on my Blue Sky at the same place of eternal_savvy, where I post not only new Heart of Hope episodes, but any art that I happen to do. And that's also where you can tag me if you are one of the wonderful people who has been making fan art for the game. You can use the hashtag Heart of Hope on Blue Sky and tag me as well. Or if you're in my Discord server, then you can send it in our fan art chat there. Also, as a note, I am no longer on Twitter, so you cannot find me there. If you find somebody there called eternal_savvy, that is not me. I am on Twitch as well, where we do a lot of art streams and some video game streams, and soon enough some TTRPG streams as well. That's right, 2 TTRPG things that I'll be doing at the same time. Obviously, not a properly edited thing. It's going to be, more casual live stuff when it starts running. But the only place where I'm different is at my YouTube VOD channel, which is staying_savvy. I want to give a quick shout out to all of the people who made the awesome prompts for the characters that we've been seeing in this arc. I have listed who was responsible for each character as they have shown up in the previous episodes. Other than that, I just want to say thank you all so much, guys, for continuing to support us. If you're on YouTube, it's a massive help if you leave some comments and some likes to let people know that this is a good show to listen to, that the algorithm can push. And if you're on one of the RSS feed style stuff, whether it be Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of that stuff, then it's a massive help if you rate the show in order to, again, let them know that this is something that people should be listening to. Other than that, I'm pretty sure that that's everything for the normal shilling at the very least. So why don't we go ahead and get back to the episode? Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. You exit out, and the energy immediately washes over you of the crowd that is poised at the threshold between these two locations. You see citizens and collectors alike, all kind of, various levels of rough housing and yelling and talking to one another. As you see that there is you look up into the sky and you see that there is this almost enhanced blue hue to the light filtering down on everybody, almost like this dappled light effect from all of the butterflies' wings semi-transparently showing all of the light cast down on you as they are dispersing to the winds. And you see that there is an immediate uptick in the energy as there is this wave of realization that the 3 Dredge who went in have just emerged, seemingly victorious. And there is this immediate, feeling of, electricity that kind of transfers through the crowd as the people who are closer to you and, more kind of camped up but guarding the place, they kind of go to attention straight away and kind of grab their guns, not aggressively or anything, but as a oh shit, what's going down? Something's, this is resolving. And you see Gareth Carnot kind of peek his head around from the canvas tent that was set up outside and sees you all and kind of gets this little smirk on his cybernetic face as he stands up, and you hear the steel against concrete as he walks up to you and goes,
So, how'd it go?
Up until this point, as I've said, Vex has been just fuming, fucking on edge, visibly angry, but upon exiting and, exiting out into this hubbub of activity, Vex's demeanor has stiffened noticeably, and she sort of folds her arms and is looking down at the ground stoically.
Well, don't talk all at once.
Oh, went about as good as it could be. I mean, just take a look at us. As she, extends her arms out around, as I imagine camera dramatically pans to her being dramatically shorter than everyone else there.
Yeah. And I think he kind of chuckles a little as he goes,
Well, I hate to assume things. Main point, we got the tower back or not?
You can go ahead and walk in. No one's gonna stop you.
he suddenly turns around and almost takes you all off guard as he just goes,
"All right, round up,"
and just starts barking orders at everybody and starts sending them in. They all there seems the collectors are fucking shocked by this as they all start grabbing their fucking rifles and pistols and gearing up their cybernetics. You hear the clinking of metal as they whir up, and you hear the combination of jackboot and steel hammering against the concrete as they thunder past you, and Carnot kind of ushers you towards the tent once again.
As the soldiers are, all running in, Asura goes, "There any leftovers in there? Don't worry, we already tenderized them for you."
Well, not too shabby. Then again, what did I expect from 3 Dredge, huh?
He kind of pulls you over. As you are walking over to the canvas tent, you expect to have a debriefing of some sort. Could I please ask... can I ask Hyde and Vex to make me a perception check of some form? Obviously applying bonuses for your eyes, in your case, Hyde. So Iris, was that a 3 for you? I will ask, do you want to re-roll?
Spend a bloodthirst to re-roll that.
With a +1 for your special ability. Up to you.
I need to look!
I'm being a bit of a jerk here, don't worry.
I think I'll hold off.
I wonder why. Oh dear. Right, so... Hyde, there is something that I will tell you about in just a moment. But Vex, you are kind of just so lost in the haze of everything, and you feel yourself just trying to calm down. There's all this noise going on. there are these crowds of collectors all lined up, and there is just this, like, eminent apathy that almost washes over you as you are just distinctly hit with this feeling of, God damn it, can we just fucking get over it? Can we just get this over with, man? And you just kind of, you know, almost like automatically just like start to put one foot in front of another to debrief. Hyde, by virtue of the fact that there are so many collectors who have now kind of cleared a bit of a gap in the crowd from emptying into the building, you get a view of one of the roads, which in and of itself is immediately something notable, considering that you only get these roads when you're not in the midst of the hive city, when you're actually on, like, you know, earth, asphalt, you know. But you see that there is a manhole cover, and it's not level with the road. In fact, it is being propped open, and you see, peeking out from underneath the manhole cover, an individual who you don't recognize but is notable, because every inch of them is, like, pale white. Their hair, their eyes, everything. They are, like, completely albino, and they seem to be... You know what, I will just give you this information. I'm not interested in this being a conflict. You see that their eyes are trained on Vex. There is a brief moment where you get this look before its eyes flit over to you, make eye contact, and in a second it just drops down again, and you see the manhole cover clink close.
Vex.
She looks over towards Hyde, looking like she is trying to will herself out of the noise.
Someone looking for you?
What?
They point over to the manhole cover. I saw something over there keeping eyes on you. Whitest thing I've seen in my life.
What? What do you mean, white? She, like... It looks like she's taking a second to put two and two together. Like, looks at Hyde again, like, trying to see if he's, like, fucking with her or something.
Complete deadpan.
But then, yeah, I mean, she'll go over to the manhole cover looking very confused.
You kind of start walking off, and Carnot kind of, like, comments to you, Asura, and it's just like...
What, she not want payment?
Looks to Hyde. What? Doesn't she... What are you doing? Like, kind of thing. Like, just staring Hyde over. You messing with her, or?
No. I don't mess with people. They say specifically to Asura.
Carnot just goes like,
Well, I'm not waiting around all day. Am I giving it to her or one of you two?
Just give it to me, I'll give it to her.
Yeah, you kind of continue this debriefing, seemingly kind of being kind of strong-armed into this situation. And yeah, he sits down and he starts like counting out money for a job done. Right. Let's just go ahead and give you guys that is gonna be it's going to be 2 favor per fight that you basically went through, so at minimum, so that's 6 each. Then you're going to get an extra 2 for the fact that this was like a really fucking difficult thing. So we're going to call it 8 favor each, basically, which is pretty monstrous in terms of experience.
Goddamn.
Yeah, and we will get back to that. Vex, you walk towards the manhole cover. It is closed. What are you doing?
Just with the exact way Hyde said it, she's like, it couldn't be what she thinks it is, like what that evokes to her mind. That like she doesn't think it could possibly be that, but why is he bringing it up? Like she just looks very confused. But I mean, the coincidence is too much. She needs to at least like peek in. So she digs one of her scythe blades into one of the holes and pries up the cover and is gonna try to like look in there and see if anything's going on.
Make me a roll to see if you can hear or see anything down there. That is a success. You hear the distinct sound of splashing liquid as you hear it's not like crazy nearby, but it's very clear that they haven't gotten like crazy far. But there is someone moving with haste.
I think Vex kind of goes like, Nyx? As she's like, tries to, not fully climb down, but hang, like, her front half down just far enough to, like, see if she can see who it is that's making the noise.
I think that slight, like, hesitation means that you don't catch anything in terms of visual. You continue to hear them running away, but you get this, like, you now have this sense, you either pursue them right now, or you're gonna lose them. And you gotta make that choice. And you are not well put together right now.
Obviously, Vex is, again, just the very mention of white has made her extremely curious and on edge. But at the same time, she's beaten to shit. She has not finished regenerating by any means. She'd be running off from the other Dredge and from the just, flurry and noise of activity around her with very little explanation. I think in this moment, her sort of sense of maintaining the status quo and sense of, I'm literally hanging into a manhole right now in the middle of a, situation, gets the better of her, and she decides to leave it for now.
You make a decision, and you hear the sound of that retreat peter off, and you close the manhole cover and you make your way back to the canvas tent. You see them in the midst of counting out cash, basically, and kind of talking about exactly what went down. The two of you see Vex come back into the tent with a, I imagine, at least slightly puzzled look on her face.
So, you find your sewer ghost or whatever?
No, I heard someone down there, but they ran off when I got close. What the fuck were you talking about? Were you being for real?
I don't mess with people.
Well, great. One more thing to worry about, I guess.
They cross their arms, taking them out of their pockets for a moment. One hand is still on the mirror as they look down at it. As I said, in vaguer terms, they just seemed completely modded to be albino or something.
You see Vex visibly flinch and stiffen a little bit.
As if by cruel coincidence, you are taken off guard by a sudden sound in the tent. And the sound of a digital phone ringing just straight up, like, runs a fucking cold finger up your spine.
Vex outright fucking, like, jumps at that. Like, it looks like it legitimately, like, jump scares her. She freaks out a little bit at that.
Carnot just casually goes,
Jeez, jumpy much?
and picks up the phone. And just goes,
Yeah, no. Job's done.
kind of looks over to you guys. Can all of you give me a check here? Just roll a d10 for me.
Is it perception?
Yes, it would be. So you get your +2 for that.
Oh, it's my turn. Sorry.
So that's a 10 from you, Vex. You see him kind of look over to you, and you being on edge, you don't know if it's your paranoia or not, but you get this immediate sense from Carnot when he says, like, yeah, job's done. When he glances over at all of you, there's this look in his eyes, or in, like, the micro movements in his half-cybernetic face, where, like, there is just a little bit of a coyness to it. This knowing smugness which goes beyond just being a bit of a shitter. And he kind of makes eye contact with you and very quickly pulls away from it, which kind of further solidifies that. Before he goes like,
Yeah, things went a treat. Yeah, we got it back. Yeah, what do you take me for? I already sent them in. Sorry, boss. Yeah, no, nothing meant by it. All right. Yes, boss.
And he hangs up. He kind of looks over to all of you and he goes,
Boss has made a decision. He's pretty pleased with what you've done, it seems.
He kind of grabs some business cards from one of the tables, and he goes,
We have a couple of cybernetics clinics that we keep to ourselves. But, needless to say, this is a pretty big deal, so you ever want some upgrades from some of our top cyberneticists, the word's been put in for you. And trust me when I say that I know these guys are good.
And he hands a card to each of you, which has, like, these, you realize as you flip them over that there is, like, gold leafing, which is kind of in the style of cybernetic traces, and you see that there is this kind of overall design that starts to swirl into a central point that looks like a processor. It's, like, not got any words on it in anything. It seems to almost be a thing of, like, if you're receiving this, you know what this, like, who this is for, right? You basically all have been given access to the ability to buy a tier 3 part with your favor, basically without having to wait to, like, order it in or get somebody special to do it. You can just get hold of one if you can pay for it. Because normally there is time involved for that. And he goes,
Right. Well, that wraps things up. Unless there's anything else I need to know about.
He kind of, like, looks over at all of you, seemingly trying to imply something.
Just be careful when you're about keeping hold of this tower from now on, because seems like they of Clay might have more allies than we thought.
Oh. Were those explosions not you?
No, they were from some outside assailant. They were taken care of with the others, thanks to some help we got. But, just gotta keep a better eye out. Never know what might happen.
You say that, and there is this immediate, like, sense between all of you in the tent. In the tent, there is this tension which suddenly tightens up. Because he also made the mistake of pointing out the explosions as unusual, which is odd to pinpoint that straight away. And, yeah, you don't need to say it out loud. But everyone in this tent understands that all of you understand exactly what just happened. Another fucking day in Hope's Rise. And he kind of, rubs his metallic chin and goes,
Right. Seems we all understand each other then. Have a great day.
Be careful out there, Carnot.
Say, I've been meaning to ask, actually.
He looks to you specifically, Asura. And he goes,
I've heard from a few folks here and there that you're good pals with Brimstone. That right?
What's it matter to you?
Oh. Just want to meet the guy one day, you know.
Well, who knows? Anything can happen.
Yeah. Yeah, anything can happen. Hey, maybe you can hook me up one day, huh?
I'll keep it in mind.
He does a big a big stage bow with when you do the hand kind of out several times and goes,
by all means,
as if to indicate you to leave at this point.
Well, Hyde, you got any more last minute pleasantries, or are we good to go?
Strength.
Yeah, there we go.
He
Starts. She just
As you were assessing in the beginning, is not something to be overlooked. Next time, if there is one.
Hyde, kind of gets this, looking into the mirror and, sort of turned away, gets this disdainful look. He's not looking at Carnot or really anyone.
Reconsider one aspect.
And he turns around.
Or maybe all of them. I'm not the boss of you. You decide what your path is.
And he, starts walking.
I think you don't see this, Hyde, but I think the other two of you see him kind of do a huff of as if doesn't even understand what was just said, and he just turns around back to his stuff. And I think, at that point you all kind of start to make your way away from this crowd and leave them to it. You exit this situation proper, and you start to, once again, kind of, I would say walk, but two of you start walking down the street. One of you kind of clatters along with your strange insectoid setup, considering you got 6 arms you're walking on.
Yeah, I mean, we've all kind of been there before, right? And so, on that, right, as we get, a good distance away, right? Far enough to where all of that business is a fair bit in the distance. We're kind of out of the situation properly and everything, right? Asura stops for a moment.
Oh yeah, Hyde. Now that we're out of that, I got something, right?
And the moment that he turns to face her, right, instantaneously, she's gonna go for a fucking swing at him, at his face.
Alright. I mean, you can roll if you want, or you can just...
Let's just see how Hyde is gonna go, you know?
I mean, I think you got a +1 or 2 naturally, but that's still not gonna be enough.
Yeah. As, she goes for a swipe, but as she sort of, telegraphed it, as Hyde is used to these kinds of shenanigans, right? I imagine he very quickly, sidesteps out of the way, as, one set of her arms, she literally, blasts herself into the air to more properly meet where his face is, as the punch just whiffs by.
Alright, so Hyde, I have a question for you, huh? What about your plan? You go distract the back line, then I go fight the front? What happened to all that, huh?
Notably, it's funny, right? Because when you're hey, I got something for you, you usually expect people to turn. As Hyde's gotten used to it, Hyde just keeps looking in the mirror, which is their usual state, and then just responded and literally just as they were still looking at themselves, steps to the side, not even bothering to use a meat snake, as they then turn to face Asura and lightly put the mirror down.
The plan didn't work out.
Yeah?
You got grabbed. I had to go forward. Then,
maybe,
in the next one,
I wouldn't have gotten grabbed, Hyde, if you had done your own goddamn job according to your own goddamn plan. When's the last time I actually listened to one of your little setups there? And look where it got me.
Your legs were not my fault. We get into situations, we adapt, we figure things out. If I had walked away from the giant ghoul that was trying to rip my face off, then it would have bounded onto someone else.
Yeah, me! That was my job!
She, like, points towards herself.
That was the whole thing we were gonna go for.
And if I were to walk away, then would they not have stopped me from moving as well?
The whole point, the reason you were doing that was because you're super fast and quick, right? That's the whole idea. You do that before they can. You know, normally the whole adapting to things on the fly and just going off of it and doing it, that's how I roll. I'm not used to you going with that sort of a thing. I'm just a little peeved, you know? We finally we get to, you know how frustrating today was? I barely got to punch anyone. And the one person I did, oh, it was fun. But you know what? He's alive now. And you want to know why? My leg!
She, like, goes and, like, motions towards the bloodied stump.
Hyde, like, rolls his eyes.
The only one who had the power to stop your leg from being taken was you.
This will go on forever if you let it.
Maybe adaptability is your thing. And maybe one of your stray pieces of metal got stuck in my head or something. But I always figured our job was to be adaptable. And we did. Godman got away. Sucks.
He won't be gone away for a real long time if I have anything to say about it. Next time I see him, which I will.
She, goes, like, points directly into, like, the bridge of his nose as she says that, right?
I'm getting more than just my leg back.
How are you gonna determine what part of him's your leg and what part isn't?
He jokes. Think it matters?
I think this is definitely a conversation which is just like keeps going as you walk. Yeah. And it's definitely a thing of I think it's safe to say that there's definitely this sense of, oh yeah, this is what we're doing to pass the time as we get ourselves to a fucking stitch, to a clinic, basically.
You know what, Hyde? How about this? How about we make it a little even, right? You wanna prove how quick you are after all? I mean, if you weren't so quick that you could have stopped all that from happening, why don't we do it in a little bit of a different way?
As she's going to, right, sort of, this whole time I imagine occasionally going for swipes on Hyde, maybe one of them glancingly hits, right? But it's kind of like every now and again in the middle of the arguing, they'll just go into like a brief, like Dragon Ball, like fucking like thing there, as they then like 1 frame later return to walking, right? Kind of deal. But this time, she very much so with like less of like instant speed force, just kind of goes and leaps up to wrap, a set of her arms around one of Hyde's shoulders and, like, hang off of him like a monkey, right?
You bring me to the clinic, huh? Real nice and quick.
His eye twitches in annoyance as he now suddenly has roughly 200 pounds of extra weight on his back, like a moving, breathing, annoying backpack, and goes, "Why would I want to prove that to you? You've seen it."
This isn't about, like, what you want to do. This is what's happening, you know? This is the situation. This isn't what you want. This is what I want.
He, leans back with, like, that annoyed, like, look on his face, like, turns to Vex.
Vex, have you just been, like, zoned out listening to all of this?
It doesn't even look like she's noticed they're arguing. She's just been walking along she looks very deep in her own thoughts.
But, yeah, you're dressed, and I imagine just cock and air or whatever.
She goes like, huh, what? She looks over to them.
Considering I'm already carrying someone on my back, you want to pick up to get to the clinic too? You have a different one, or...
Sorry, I'm fine to go to my guy by myself. Don't worry about me.
Suit yourself.
You gonna be alright walking on your own? Not that I'm convinced that you're going to falter or something. Just wondering.
Yeah, look, yeah, I'm fine.
Righto then. And he turns, but then takes a second. Oh. I guess one last thing. One arm obviously needing to stabilize the full metal jacket that he's currently wearing. He reaches into his pocket and grabs that business card. Either of you want this? I'm not putting any of this shit in my body.
I mean, if you really don't want it, I can take it, but like, I don't know, good to have in case, even if you're not gonna use it.
I mean, I'm not gonna turn my back on a gift, even if it's from those fucking assholes.
Another part of why I'm tossing it away, or rather, giving it to someone else, is that I personally don't trust them to not inject a bomb into whatever they give me. But
I don't think they'd have the guts.
And if they do, I'll just come over and tear it out.
well, you're both interested.
If you want to hand that off, Hyde, then I will just treat that as another 2 favor given to one of you.
In which case, like, he takes a moment, or Hyde specifically takes a moment, hearing the interest from the both of them, takes a moment, closes his eyes, and then he, sticks a hand out towards Vex with the card in it. Get the feeling you need it a little bit more.
She takes it. Well, if it'll let me hold my own better next time, then sure.
On that, you were pretty fucking crazy in there, weren't you?
Was I? She, looks genuinely like she doesn't know how others perceive her.
You were kind of flailing around, and you just tore him up in a storm.
So did you two. You two were fucking, without you two, that certainly wouldn't have, gone as well as it did. Not that it went well, of course.
You're right. We did, plenty good, but you also went pretty hard there, too, so don't think you did nothing, even if we did more.
She, goes and sort of takes Hyde on the head.
Vex just nods. She doesn't look like she takes it too personally. Well, like I said, I'll try to do better next time if there is a next time, but it was good working with you two.
I gotta ask, as they're just walking along, of course, wanting to do better is always the thing to strive for, but why do you consider that whole situation such a failure? We did what we were told to do.
I just don't think... It's like I've said already. The reason I've survived and even made it as far as I have is by not trusting in promises people make and in blindly trying to negotiate and make friends in untenable situations. Yeah, it worked out sort of this time, and with the bombs raining on our heads, it was the best we could have hoped for, is just getting out of that with our heads still on. She side glances at her own choice of phrasing. But I still wouldn't call it ideal to just leave potential problems and potential fucking grudges and hang-ups out in the air like that. To say the least of what the fuck the collectors are trying to pull.
Trust me, like I said earlier, I don't really like that we did that either.
She scratches the back of her head.
But situation was rough. And like I said before as well, they start causing problems again. We know what they got now.
I guess so. I hope things are as unstable between him and the other leaders as he made it sound.
I can only hope so.
Point is, though, I might not totally agree with, I might not be totally overjoyed about how that went, but I mean, I at least acknowledge you kept a cooler head than I did, and that kind of thing isn't really my strong suit, so I'm not, like, pissed at you or anything.
Even if you were, I would not care, necessarily. Not to say that your opinion isn't valued. It's just, hang-ups like this exist in our business. And for the matter of what our jobs are and what we're meant to do, calls like this happen. And while friendship and running around in the fields with a lollipop in our mouth are not realistic and not by any means anything to go off of, he shrugs. Maybe there was just a part of me that saw something where there was nothing. Maybe what I saw in the mirror had thoughts of seeing some of these gangs go down a peg or two thanks to a new factor. And then he pauses and shrugs again. Maybe a fourth wouldn't be so bad.
I get what you're saying, but, I still don't exactly want to go around making friends with, people who turn what few things that everyone can agree that we need, like food, the means to produce it, into a fucking bloodhouse.
I agree with this.
Yeah, maybe a fourth gang ain't such a bad thing if that fourth gang, ain't turned people into body horrors or taking over basic resources or whatever else. Take it from someone who also definitely wanted to kill them.
She sort of lets herself hang a little bit more.
As much as I wish it was, it's not always simple as going in and blowing shit up.
You all note the transition of territory over from the collectors to neutral as you continue talking.
To say necessarily that they of Clay are unique for making, quote, body horror monstrosities out of people isn't necessarily true. It's roughly the same as we always deal with. One's just unexpected. And, to make it a little clear, I do also think that was a little much. I'm not saying that they're completely in the right for that situation. Just saying that if we were in a situation where they of Clay in the position of the Foundling Creed, and the Foundling Creed were coming up, we'd probably find their views barbaric to begin with in the first place. But that's a whole lot of philosophy and annoying back and forth that we don't need to get into.
He sort of realizes that he's waxing poetic a little bit too bad.
I think you start to note as well that there is a turning you need to take as well to get to your clinics, Hyde and Asura.
Yeah, as we assumedly stop, she just shrugs. I haven't been a Dredge as long, but from what I've seen, pretty much everybody in the city is the same. They're just looking out for themselves. The only difference is people who are willing to learn their lesson when they're taught one. Maybe that butterfly freak is one of them. We'll have to see.
No, he better hope he is.
Yeah, sorry. This distracted me, but just one more thing if you guys don't mind. She kind of hesitates for a moment, looking again kind of like awkward or maybe reserved about this. You 100% weren't fucking around when you said you saw some albino person staring at me, right, Hyde?
Yeah. What was all that about? You got something like? Is this like a thing with you, or like what's that?
Hyde, like, when they're asked for the third time if they're fucking around, gets like this look, not at Vex, but just like, ugh, like.
When I said I saw something, if I were uncertain I saw it, I would not have stated as such. But I'm certain that I saw something looking at you. I was also certain, sure as the sun rises, that it was no color other than white.
You got some sort of a history with an albino person or something?
Wouldn't I like to know? She mutters. Okay, I just had to make sure, Hyde, because here's the deal. She, like, looks around to see if anybody's, like, in their immediate vicinity before, like, stepping forward. This is a long shot, and I don't want you to, you know, go around being paranoid that you're gonna see some shit or whatever, but, like, just in case either of you do see anything like that, right? If you see anybody like that, I would really appreciate it if you could tell me. I'll owe you a favor if that's what it takes, but just please, if you see someone like that, just let me know. I can't get into why it's important to me, but it is.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, I guess if I see anything like that, I can let you know.
Oh, sorry. One more super quick thing. She, like, turns around.
Yeah?
Sorry. Have either of you heard of somewhere called Atrium?
Have we?
Could you both make rolls, please?
Alright, come on, Asura. Let's succeed your first roll of this session. Come on. No. You know, I have bloodthirst I can spend. I'm willing to do it, considering. Let's give it a reroll. Still no. Alright, I'm done.
That's it's 3 twos. Jesus.
Rosche / Hyde, I have an important question to ask you here. Does Hyde make a point, and I'm not saying like, oh, I guess he talks to him every now and then, does he make a point of interacting with Section C?
Considering Hyde very specifically has to get his mutations from somewhere, I imagine he has to begrudgingly do so.
Okay.
Like, keep in good contact.
Hyde. Atrium does not ring a bell. However, because of your modifications and because of the fact that you were so heavily involved in mutations, it's not that you've heard of Atrium, but if someone walked up to you and was like, oh, yeah, Atrium, you would just accept that as like, that definitely sounds like a place that Section C would have. It's like a very Section C naming convention. The fact that Atrium is like also known as a biological structure plays into that. So you don't recognize it, but TLDR sounds very Section C / outside world.
I can't say I've heard of it, but I buy that it exists. Is there anything in particular other than it probably being something with Section C?
No, I mean, if it sounds like a Section C thing, then that's at least something I can look into. But yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have places called, he gets a fucked up smile on his face, pneumonia or something to do with the body, lungs. Atrium is part of a heart, so...
Oh, it is. She sort of narrows her eyes a bit. Okay. Well, thanks. So I'll stop holding you guys up. Thank you. Just yeah, good job. She turns and starts walking away.
Yeah, see you next job. Hopefully next time it's a little more direct and a little less talking.
This is my joke take, so we can get rid of this, but just like,
well, Vex, you're a strange fellow,
but you kill a good enemy.
You kill a good play.
Yeah, you kill a good. Well, Azul, you're strange butterflies, but they a good play. Like.
Well, thanks, you too.
In reality, right? In reality, Hyde takes an arm and waves it.
Yeah, don't hesitate to call me or Asura up if you need some help on another job. And I'm looking forward to see how you progress. And maybe the terminus of all this investigation you're doing.
Still not looking right at them. She nods, thumbs up.
Oh, alright, living backpack, let's go.
He actually picks up the pace and starts zooming.
Mush, mush!
And with that, you hear Hyde and Asura scarper off into the distance.